ॐ साईश्वराय विद्महे सत्यदेवाय धीमहि तन्नः सर्वः प्रचोदयात्। ॐ साईश्वराय विद्महे सत्यदेवाय धीमहि तन्नः सर्वः प्रचोदयात्। ॐ साईश्वराय विद्महे सत्यदेवाय धीमहि तन्नः सर्वः प्रचोदयात्। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। साईराम।
Sairam, welcome to all the Sai devotees of Sai Special for today's evening online satsang, 37th session. And we pray to Swami at a lotus feet for having blessed us with this great opportunity of able to participate in the satsang. And as we have been learning in the previous talks also, it's a great opportunity for a human being to be born, and that too when exposed to the spiritual environment, and that too in this yuga, living in the era of Swami and knowing Swami to whatever small extent we have, and developed some devotion and some love and some dedication. It's our really the punyas of our forefathers and whatever little punya we might have had done during our birth up to now. Now, let us utilize this opportunity. Let us sing the glory of Swami. Satsang is nothing but like bhajan in the poematic way. It's a kind of a poem sung in the musical rhythm, whereas Sai Satsang is in the prosaic form, so that the Swami Sashtotra says he is Gadya Priya, he is Padya Priya, he is Gana Priya. He gets pleased with any of these ways, in Veda Priya and Shloka Priya. See, whatever way, and even Dhyana, meditation, Dhyana Priya, he is pleased with any of the acts that we do with our devotion, and that reaches him. Like Swami used to say, we worship Swami many a time the Ashtavatra, the Sastranamas, with different types of flowers brought from different places, different trees, different plants, and different people. Then all of them are put together, and then the flower is offered to Swami. That's why he says, like that, each flower, each your kind of worship or prayer reaches me like the flower, and then becomes a garland on my neck, and I feel pleased and honored, and I bestow upon all of you the good health and prosperity and peace of mind. And let us start today's session with a small introduction of today. We are on the 17th April, Saturday, Shanivar, and with Lord Shanishwara's grace, Navagraha, and also with Shri Sai Venkateshwara, Hanuman, Maruti, Anjaneya, and with Swami's blessings, we'll start today's session. And we are shortly going to celebrate Shri Ramanavami all over the country, both in Prashantinilayam and other places. And Sri Ramanavami is a kind of a global phenomenon. It's being conducted on 21st April, that is on next Wednesday. And since we are closer to that, I'll just spend about 3-4 minutes on the celebration of Sri Ramanavami and something about Sri Ramachandra. And as we have gone through in our previous satsang program, the details of Sundarakanda and something of Ramayana, and as often Swami says, even during this sadhana campaign going on and the Aradhana month and the Aradhana week, that Swami always used to feel extolled whenever he used to sing bhajans of Rama and also glorifies the qualities of Rama. And Ramakatha Vahini, Ramarasa Vahini, all these various bouquets of Swami's lectures and Sri Rama. And Rama is the very name, Ramayatiti Ramaha. Just think of the name Rama, Sai Rama. It itself purifies us and it makes our lives some kind of a different splendor. It adds that lively splendor to all of our lives. And therefore, Rama is that of character. And Dharma Vigrahan Rama. That means Rama means Dharma and Dharma means Rama. And whatever Rama has done is Dharma. And you can't say Rama did like this, Rama did that. Like Swami did this, Swami did that. Therefore, is it right? For no questioning about it. Whatever Swami has done, whatever Sai Rama has done, whatever Sri Ramachandra did, they're all Dharma. And they alone are Dharma. So they are the embodiments of Dharma. That's why Dharma is embodied from there, whatever teachings and from the stories that we have heard. And let us also think about the great place, pilgrimage place, Ayodhya. And also, now the Kumbh Mela is starting in the Prayag and other places. Let us worship the holy river Ganges and also the holy river Mandakini at Chitrakoot, and also the rivers Saryu and the Tamasa on the two banks of Ayodhya. And where, when we read Ramayana, we listen and to understand that Sri Ramachandra passed through all these rivers, took bath, worshipped each of these deities in the rivers. Therefore, let us also offer our worship. And the Ayodhya, where Sri Ramachandra ruled after his Pattabhisheka, after his initial 14 years in the Vanavas, which we also heard in the Ramayana. And Ramayana is just not the story of Rama, Lakshmana, Bharata, Shatrugna, and Dasharatha, the Kaikeyi, Kausalya, and Sumitra, and several other persons connected, particularly Hanuman, and then Sugriva, Vali, Vibhishana, Kumbhakarna, Ravana, and Vishwamitra, said Vasishtha, Sri Janaka, Maharaja Janaka of Mithila, father-in-law of Sri Ramchandra, and the ardent devotee and great priest, great sage, Sri Vishwamitra and Sri Vasishtha. And these people, and Janaka Maharaja was also the father of Sri Sita Mahamata, and then Sri Janaka Maharaja was a great yogin and a great kind of a devotee. And it is told there is no other equal yogi compared to Sri Janaka Maharaja, because he was a Tyagi, he was a yogi, and he was sacrificed everything, and in the Vedantic philosophy. He is a great Vedanti. And we have seen how Sita, after marriage with Sri Ramchandra, Sita Kalyanam, Swami used to sing a beautiful song about Sita Kalyanamu, Vaibhogamu, like the wonderful song Swami used to sing on the Ramnavami days. In the Ramnavami days, he used to sing Rama, Kodanda Rama, Rama, Kalyana Rama, Rama Pattabi Rama, all these things, and Rama Namame Melo, Swami Chintane Chalo, all these wonderful Tyagaraja's compositions and all these. And therefore, we remember Ramachandra, and then how Sri Ramachandra later, although he was to undergo the forest life for 14 years, and he never spoke ill of his mother Kaikeyi and whoever prompted her to do this like Mantara. And in fact, he thanked them that instead of being coronating in the Ayodhya, that he is going to Vanavasa also is coronated as the king of the Vana and the forest. And therefore he underwent all that. And then when Srimati Sita was abducted by Ravana and the Devi Sita, she kept herself pure away from Ravana because she was like a fire. She was Agniputri. Since she is the Agniputri, Ravana could not do any harm to her. And then Hanumanta, again, is the embodiment of devotion. If there is any bhakta or a devotee, then there was no devotee like the Anjaneya or the Hanuman using his services. Because like Swami says sometimes, Sevadar and other people's services are taken or utilized by Swami. Swami says, I may not need their services directly. Therefore, I am capable of doing a lot of things on my own. But I am giving them opportunity. I am using them as an instrument so they can offer their services. Like that, it's a kind of a utilizing the services of Hanuman, Sugriva, after killing Vali, and then restoring the kingdom to Sugriva. Then similarly, Vibhishana, when he came in Sharanagati, then he offered the kingdom of Lanka to Vibhishana. And when Hanuman crossed the ocean, 100 yojanas, that means again, see, whatever work, suppose we think it is difficult, just think of Sai Hanuman. But they say, Asadhyavannu Sadhyamadava Asadharanamurti Sai Hanumanta. So just thinking about Sai Hanuman, you can cross the ocean. Sometimes the ocean could be only the physical ocean. It is also the mental ocean for the samsara. So you can cross that ocean. And then Sita Mata. Sometimes when you are not able to see Sita, that is then delusion, the Maya comes. And then when he is finding Sita, Dushtva Sita, Hanumanta explains. And then that means the Maya is taken out, the illusion is gone. And then he gives the Mudrika and then brings away from her Chudamani and gives it to Rama. And then Hanuman does all these things. And then when the bridge was to be created on the 100 Yojana, Dakshina Samudra, that is now present Rameshwaram, to Lanka, Sri Lanka, then it was built after praying to Samudaraja and then worshipping Ishvara, Rameshwara. That's why Rameshwara Lingam is the one worshipped by Sri Ramchandra himself. That's why it became Rameshwaram. And then we know the war was done, and after the war, naturally the victory is always for Dharma. Even for us, sometimes we feel why the righteous people are not getting fruits. But fruits are going to be there. But you have to go on doing your righteous thing constantly, like satsang. It is not that we do 1 week and 2 weeks and then we say enough, we are closing, we are stopping. It's a continuous process. And then when you do like this victory of Rama over Ravana, that the victory of the good over the evil, what happens? And then he is coronated with the Rama Pattabhisheka. See, this is a brief Ramayana just for our reminiscences and worship of Sri Ramachandra before the Ramanavami on 23rd, that's on Wednesday. And thinking of all the deities and Sri Ramachandra for our introduction, then we go into the topic of today. The topic of today is time management, significance of Kala, and then the life balance sheet. And these are all certain key words. And Not that people do not know about this. Mostly everybody knows about each of these points. So what is done is taking certain significance from Swami's teachings in various occasions, his talks and some books and what you would have heard, all these things, taking it, some small collection has been done. But the subject is itself so infinite that whatever we may tell, a lot of things would be left, and whatever little we are able to do, let us try to put that together. And for that, again, let us have a few stanzas taken from Swami's Sai Darshan. Swami says, conquer your mind and you will capture your thoughts. Conquer your thoughts, you will capture peace. Conquer peace and you have captured your ego. Conquer the ego and you will capture the I. Conquer the I and you will conquer God. That means even you can capture God, and after capturing God, you can conquer God. That means you will capture God and conquer God. That's why to do that, what has to be done? Through satsang, fill your mind with God, fill your heart with love. Let your words be unspoken. You let the actions flow with sweetness that is divine. Let your eyes close its doors to evils. Let shine to the beauty of God that surrounds you. Empty your hands of the limited treasures that you hold. Don't go and ask Swami for this type of limited treasures. Don't ask and beg for any small things. Fill them with my grace that remains timeless. Smile today, so the entire world can smile and be happy. And know that you will remain mine forever. I have always told you that once that you have come to me, that for entire your lifetime and for your several births later on, that you will be my devotee, you will remain mine forever. You are my part, and I the whole. I am born. I am born to kill your mind of the bad thoughts and to stir and awaken your heart to end all your desires, like what we said, the desirelessness thing, to bring you to that. And with that desirelessness state, when you come, sealing on desires, to drown your ego, I am born to take you back. He says, Swami's avatar itself, I am born to take you back, to make you complete with my love only. And I have come for that. For that, what he says, turn around and look at me. Don't look at here and there. Don't while away. Look at me in my eyes, face to face. Search for that mirror that reflects your face as mine and mine as yours. True devotion, a simple heart, and a pure mind. A soul that loves, a body that sacrifices, makes you the God that lives as a messenger in his own form. God's simplicity is his beauty. Turn around from your sweet sorrows and walk towards me step by step. Each step will give you an image clearer of me as you as me. Since you and me are going to be same, you will merge with me, which are continued devotion and dedication and sadhana with me. And that's the Swami's kind of pronouncement. And then we also know one small this thing from Vairagya Shatakam of Bhartrihari. And there, King Bhartrihari tells this vividly that two slokas you recited, wherein some home or some square that once were many, there is now no one, and where there was one or many successively in the past, there is none at the end of the game. That means when we are born with so many people. Now, as we are progressing in our age, we are finding a lot of people who are around us. Now, there are no more along with us, are no more to be found. And there is none at the end of the game. That is the process in which the expert Kala. The Kala is also called Yama. Yama also is called the god of time. And the expert Kala plays his game on the checkerboard of this world. He brings in some people, he removes some more. He brings somebody else, takes away somebody else. And he goes on doing this wonderful drama with living beings as the pieces to be moved and not the chess pieces. And casting the two dice. The two dice that he casts, the Kala or the Yama, is the day and night. The day comes, day goes, night comes, night goes, one more day rolls, one more day, one more week, one more month rolls. Time is ticking, time is going. But have we achieved, attained anything substantial? So he said, daily, with the rising and setting of the sun, our life shortens every day when we see sunrise. And when we are able to see the sunrise and pray to Him, one day is gone from our lives. Life shortened and time, its flight is not filled on account of affairs, heavily burdened with manifold activities. Neither is fear produced, yet beholding birth, death, old age, and suffering. Alas, the world has become mad by drinking the stupefying wine of delusion. We are accosted and affected by the wine of delusion, that is the Maya. And therefore, in Bhagavad Gita also, Krishna says everybody is deluded by the Maya. And unless we have got the depth of devotion and the satsang activity, then we can overcome Maya. When you overcome Maya, God comes and appears before you. Not only that, He takes you along with Him to Him. This is a few words from the Bhartwari Svairaga Shatakam. Then we have a small quote from life is love and enjoy. From this, there are a few sentences that which we can just be important and significant, and that we'll just take it. Swami says, God has incarnated in human form in order to inspire man to follow higher ideals, not only in India but in foreign countries also. Men may have different languages and lifestyles, but God is one and He is present everywhere. All religions speak of Him as love, as attainable through love. Forms of worshipping God differ, for they are based on by time and place. But love is the basic content of all the forms. The language of love is understood and spoken by all the hearts. There is only one race really, and that is the race of mankind. We now consider petty distinctions of nationality, race, religion, language as vital and hold back the love, which must flow to everyone from the heart. That is the life and the message of you and Jesus. Nurture it in your hearts. Experiences God. Experience God as a messenger sent from God. Love alone can reveal the divinity. Nothing else, only the path of love. Love alone can reveal the divinity latent in all of us. Love is God, live in love. Love lives by giving and forgiving. Self lives by getting and forgetting. Love is selflessness. Selfishness is lovelessness. When you have got selfishness, then lovelessness. Do not waste your life pursuing the narrow interest of the self. Love, love, love. Become what you truly are, the embodiments of love. Prematma Saruplara Swami says, no matter how others treat you, don't bother about that, what they think of you. Do not worry. Follow Swami. Love for the sake of your own evolution and not for what others say. Your own heart shining with love is God's love. We should constantly remind ourselves, I am God, I am God, I am God. Then you will become God. Not to think that I am God, we should be thinking godly and good things, and that you become godly, and then you become God. And the Swami says, all of us can become God eventually. And that is the power of this. And therefore, and then one more small prayer, bear everything, do nothing. Hear everything, say nothing. Give everything, take nothing. Serve everyone, be nothing, Swami says. Take a lesson from the sun, who shines his light on everyone. or the rain that falls on every single shore. No distinction of our race or the color of our face. Nature's gifts are there for all men, rich or poor. Love all, serve all. Understand that love and peace is what we need. Love all, serve all. In every single thought, word, and deed through the satsang. Bear all and do nothing. Hear all and say nothing. Give all and take nothing in return. Love is giving and forgiving. Self is getting and forgetting. Serve all in the spirit of pure love. Love all, serve all. Understand that love and peace is what we need. Love all, serve all. In every single thought, word, and deed. Therefore, these are the fitting starting points for us for today's topic. And because many a times, what happens, we think that some title is given for the topic, and then some prelude is given, and this is the reasoning for us to understand the meanings of each of these words for the topic. It becomes more clearer to us with our this introduction. Swami always to say, now we are coming to the time management and significance of Kala. See, the time is an English word, and the Kala is the Sanskrit word, and Kala is also time, measurement of time, and God is time. What is time? Time, Kala. Kala, that's why Swami used to say, Kalaya Namaha, Kala Kalaya Namaha, and Kalatitaya Namaha. Because Swami is not only the Kala, and not only he can create time, he can compress time, he can enlarge time, and he is himself time, and he is above time. Therefore, Kalatitaya Namaha. All these are definitions for the Kala. Again, let us know what is time, what is Kala. So many a time we say, what time is it today? We ask general question. Then everybody sees their watch or the clock, wall clock, and say, this is so much of time. This is now morning, evening, night, whatever time, AM, PM, all these things. The meridian times, the kind of Greenwich time, and different kind of geographical, and each of the countries are demographic kind of the time zones, and that time is told that this is that time. So that is one way of seeing a watch and saying that what time is it. And the second is, as we heard in these shlokas, that God himself is time. And God has designated the god of Yama or the Kala, and the Kala Yama. The Yama is not only we think he is the god of death, but what is death? Death is the end of particular limit of time given for a particular individual. A particular individual has been given a particular quantum of time. Like in many times in the examination halls, there will be an examiner and who says if it's a 3-hour paper, and once the 3-hour time is over, he comes and snatches away the answer sheets from the student which does still not have given or handed over. Similarly, this Yama is like a supervisor. Yama is like a kind of a invigilator. And then we are all in the exam of life, and we have been given some time, like whatever 3 hours, if it is a question paper, we have been given certain number of years, and that number of years is given as the kind of the duration for the question paper. And Swami has given the question paper, and Swami has also given the answer sheet, and the answer sheet for us is our actions. And when our actions are the answer sheets, and our actions are not sufficient, and then the duration of time given to us is over, then before we have even attempted sometimes any answer or any question, then maybe we end up giving a blank sheet to the examiner, and we know what the result is. And most of us, Swami used to say, we end up our life giving a blank sheet, blank answer sheet to God. And then we expect wonderful results. We want distinction, we want first class. What is that result? Asking Swami, give me that, give me this, because I have been your devotee, I have been your student. Therefore, this Kala is one type of a kind of a decision maker. And Kala does not care for anybody. If he is the president of a country, he also has to pass away when his lifetime is over. But so again, when we say lifetime, the time word is added to the life. Life, if alone it was life, but there is called lifetime. That means there's a stipulation of particular limit of number of years or months, whatever it is given. And therefore, that kind of lifetime is the border or the barrier and given by God. And therefore, this time is the one which controls, and the entire world revolves around the word time. For Swami says, suppose the word time was not there, or nothing like time, then we wouldn't have bothered about doing so many things. Because there is some time and the definition of time, some kind of duration of time. See, we are forced to do some actions. See, anything, suppose we have a program, including, let us say, bhajan program. We fix 30 minutes, 40 minutes, some particular time. So that there is a start time, there is a end time. There's satsang, start time, some end time is there. For everything, there is a start time and there is an end time. Therefore, this is what the definition of kala overall. And except God, nobody can overturn this, nobody can overcome this. And many a times we say, time decides everything. Therefore, sometimes Swami used to say, Swami, Upanayana has to be done for somebody, not the proper time. Again, what does it mean? What is that time? Time means that particular period. And that period, or the masa, or the month, or even that dosha, or the some kind of particular time. That is, maybe it could be zodiac, it could be other thing. Swami used to say, not now, and let the proper time comes. And the time is again a kind of a expectation, not now, later. Swami used to say, wait. That means wait for some more time. Therefore, time is something which we can never go away or do away. And we have got to sail along with time. And therefore, managing time becomes important, because if we don't manage time, time is not going to wait for us. And that's the reason of significance of time management. Let us talk a little bit more about the kala and the time management. And many a time we ask how much time required. One is what is time, and then how much time. Because many a time everything is determined by the quantity of time that is required. The quantity of time that is required. And therefore, because of the quantity of time, unless that is a kind of a measure is there, it will become difficult to complete certain things. Therefore, how much time, quantity of time required, whether so many hours, so many minutes, sometimes even seconds. That means what is the distance that could be traveled within that, or some time to bring that type of item from there to here. And elapsing of time and counting. Many a time we have got the stopwatches which can count not only minutes and seconds, even what they call microseconds and nanoseconds. And therefore, even in competitions we have seen, like swimming and aquatic, running and other things, seconds, microseconds and nanoseconds. And by photo finish, many a time, even that seconds matter. Many a time say, oh, what about that? Okay, we take easy about time. For Swami says, don't take it easy. Time lost is everything lost. Or even Swami said, time lost is gone. You can't recover it. Life, time lost is that much of life lost. And above, it's again applicable for examination papers, as we are talking, the intervals, the frequency, the time limit, and the time discipline. Because many a time that is what very important. Certain work is assigned. Like whether it could be a vaccination program now going on, or it could be office work. In office, when some work is designated, then they say you should complete this in the next for 30 minutes. That 30 minutes is given at time for that particular work to be done and the report to be given. Which means everything that we do, whether in the kitchen, also something is prepared food, then they say this particular breakfast to be required within the next 30 minutes, 20 minutes. Food, meals required in the next 1 hour, 2 hours, or before this particular time. Therefore, without that mentioning about the time, Nothing happens in this world. And therefore, many a time, this time being such important, the time management is only the capability of completing the given work or assignment in the required time allotted or earlier to the time given. Many a time, if you give, it should be completed in 20 minutes. There are people who will finish it in 15 minutes and then come and say, yes, I have finished it. And Swami has many a time has appreciated that. But the only thing is that what Swami is telling, in order to do it fast, don't do it wrongly. And don't hurry. Sometimes hurry makes worry and hurry makes waste. So let not hurry. But hurrying is different, but doing it in the within the time allotted is also an important thing. And therefore, many a times when we go into the details of the time management, what is required is time is required many a times that when we start a journey, then we know at what time we have to reach the station or the airport, and then how much time is required to do that for calculation of time, analysis of time, and then sequencing time. And all these things become important. Therefore, plan your time, plan your work, allot time required for each job, and that is time management. Therefore, if suppose you are to go to some particular place, the time management says calculate all the sequences of work that is required and how much time each of the sequences required, and then plan early. And Swami, you have a wonderful solution for this. He is to say, plan early. Many a time we start the plan after the work is over or after the time given to us is over. Plan early, start early, drive slowly, reach safely, and end the work peacefully. And therefore, this is one of the real mantras. If we are to do anything, then instead of starting it late, start early. Even going to office sometimes, or going to bhajan, or going to satsang, or any program, anything, or even some event. Then, if we start early, and then we can travel peacefully, we can reach peacefully, relax, talk to the people, and then do whatever things required, and come back safely and peacefully. Therefore, time is something which you can manage. Because many a time people make excuse, I'm very, very busy. I can't manage time. Swami said there's no excuse. The busiest of the persons in the world can find time if he is interested. That means there is a lack of interest and it is not lack of time. Time is sufficient if we only plan ourselves properly and then utilize it properly. For there is enough time for all of us because everybody has the same 24 hours time in a day and nothing more, nothing less. But we have seen a lot of people doing such tremendous work. But a lot of people idling the entire day and months, and they also spend the time. Spending time is something, utilizing time is different. And therefore, although whenever we are late and other things, it causes us the unnecessary panic and stress, the BP, and so many other things. And instead of that, and even sometimes fear, inefficiency, a late line, marking, remarks on the company bosses, and many are in the school. Sometimes they are put in the late line. All this can happen. So be punctual. For that, rise early, prepare early. Swami always used to say, it's better start your day early, rise early, prepare early, make pre-preparations, like for journey and all that. Keep all your documents, whatever required, in a proper way. All your records, all your IDs, all your tickets, everything in place, so that you can carry with you whatever required. And don't start in haste. And for lectures and talks and bhajans, etc., drama, songs, music competition, plan the contents, map the time needed, practice and rehearsals. Many a time, many good practices and rehearsal, and even to find out how much time this actually requires. Match time, finish on time. Kala Titaya Namaha. This Kala Titaya Namaha, 2-3 minutes, I will just explain one of the real incidents that how Swami, really speaking, he conquered time because he is the conqueror of time. He is the conqueror of death, Mrityunjaya, and also he is the Kalatita. And there's a small example for that. There's one professor called Dr. K. Krishnamurti. He was the professor of Sanskrit from Karnataka University after retirement. And he had worked with Dr. Gokak, who was the Vice Chancellor of Bangalore University and later Swami's University, and Dr. Adke, who was also a great devotee of Swami. And this Dr. Krishnamurti, after retirement, was asked by Swami to come and teach Sanskrit as a professor in Satyasai University at Prashanthi. And he uh, had good experience of being there for 2-3 years. And then he was old enough. And then once Swami said, you can return to Mysore. His the native place was Mysore. And then he and along his with wife, because both of them were known to us well, and we had gone to their house given by Swami at Prashanthi Nilayam. And then he narrated to us, after he left from Prashanthi Nilayam, what happened on the day of his leaving from Prashanthi Nilayam. See, the day he was to leave from Prashanthi Nilayam, Swami had approved it, and he said, before you go, come and take my Padnamskar. And also he said, maybe an interview. And then that day, since already he had told Swami about his departing from Prashanthi Nilayam, and he had made preparations, packed everything, and vacated the house. And then he had come ready for the 4 o'clock darshan for the 2:30 Swami, and then generally used to call after that. And his bus to come to Bangalore to go to Mysore again was at 6 o'clock. He had reserved the bus, and most of the times, like most of us do. And then he had gone and sat in the veranda, waiting for Swami to come. Swami came, saw him from a distance, didn't go near him. Then he was not called. And then he was seeing his watch. Oh, Swami has not called. What to do now? Then he some more time persisted, and some more time it happened. It became 4 o'clock, and bhajan started, and all these things are going on. And then so there was no Swami's indication that he is going to be called in, and even Padnamskar and the final so-called farewell interview, the farewell blessings. Therefore, and also he had told that when you come, Dr. Krishnamurti, you have to talk in presence of Swami about some topic. And then he had prepared some 10-12 pages, because being a professor of Sanskrit, he had written a number of books. He had got a Rashtrapati award also for his book on Ramayana. Swami had told you have to speak. Then he had prepared also for everything. And then by the time was ticking, and he was seeing his watch, because all of us, although we call ourselves devotees of Swami, we still have a lurking doubt whether Swami will call us and what will happen. And it went on rolling, and then Swami called him along with Mr. Kasturi at about 5 o'clock. And then he thought, already it is 5. By the time this thing had to come out early, then I may not be able to read out what I have written unless Swami asked me, how can I do it? Whatever papers he had kept, he kept and hidden in his pocket, in the shirt. And then he was thinking, okay, Swami has at least called, let me have Padnamskar. Oh, he had Padnamskar, and Swami chatted. And then he went on talking to others also there in the interview room. Then it was becoming 5:20, 5:25, like this time was rolling out. And then when his turn came, Swami again asked, what time is your bus? And then he told that it is going to be, Swami, I have booked the bus, booked for the bus at 6 o'clock. Oh, I see. And as if he didn't know, he pretended. And then he said, okay, I think you wanted to give a talk, is it not? Then he said, Swami, but already it is time. Do you have time for my talk? He said, I have enough time, but do you have time? Swami's counter question, do you have time? Then he said meekly, yes, Swami, if you permit. And then what he did was, in the process, like most of us do, in order to squeeze time, we kind of reduced the pages, and then instead of 12, 15 pages which he had, he made it 5 or 6 pages so that he can finish it early and then have the blessing from Swami and walk out. And his entire thing was to take the bus along with his wife back to Bangalore and Mysore. Mind was concentrating on that. And therefore he was wondering what will happen. Then Swami asked, yes, start your lecture. Then he started. And then first he went on leaving some pages. Swami said, no, read all the pages. And then he had to take all the pages, some 15, 16 pages he had kept. And then normally it will take 40, 45 minutes to complete reading all that. And then he knew that he had not much time. He had only 10, 15, 20 minutes for him to catch the bus. And then when he tried to push through all these things, Swami was still patient, and he could finish all the 15, 16 pages. And still Swami asked anything more. Then he, at that time, looked at his watch. He was given the chance to speak at 5:30, 5:35. He had finished speaking for nearly 40 minutes according to the number of pages that he had, which he had calculated. The watch had moved only by 8 minutes or 9 minutes. And then 5:45 or so, he could leave from there. He could go to the bus stand, take the bus. See, why this has been relevant in this is, Swami is the master of time. He can overcome time, he can overrule time, and that's why he said, I decide time for every one of you. You don't say, this time is auspicious or not. The time is decided by me, because I can compress time, I can elongate time, and I take away the time. Everything I do. And therefore, similarly, like this, number of experiences are there for a lot of people who had thought that they will miss the flight, they'll miss the train, they'll miss the bus or something. And then the Sai Ram mantra with them, many a time, it is experience of most of us, we have been able to catch whatever train or bus or the flight. Only thing is the proper efforts must have been made from us. And if something happens on the way, we get delayed. It happened many a times for us in airports and stations, and many devotees have recounted on that. A lot of people were known because Swami can always do it, and he can be pressed for time, and he can elongate, and he can reassess. And therefore, this is what the sequence of time and this thing. And one thing is also because the chaotic traffic conditions, he says, Swami, nowadays that always whenever you plan your journey, plan your action properly. And once that is all done, now the last topic or this thing is life balance sheet. For 2 minutes, we'll speak on that because it's a topic which can spill over to our next week talk, another 2-3 minutes. The life balance sheet. See, once that life, we have undergone this, what is life balance sheet? Life balance sheet is nothing but, like in our balance sheets, accounts people know, that is the summary of credits and debits. And the credit are the income and the debits are the expense. And what are these in life balance sheet spiritually? Our papas, whatever we do, the sins, they are the debits. And the punya, the good deeds we have done is credit. And our suffering is because of our papas. And our enjoyed happiness is because of the punya. And if somebody comes and says, Swami, I am suffering, then he says, it is our karma. The karma theory says you cannot condone that. Unless Swami sometimes used to condone that, he can. But not regularly. And therefore, Swami used to say the punya is like a overdraft or a credit card or even a loan. And that is Swami's grace. And with that, people sometimes not having anything in their pocket can also enjoy certain results. And that is the grace of God. And all enjoyments result in ultimate sorrows or problems or worries and depressions. And therefore, enjoyments, the desires and wants are the reason. If our punya are the good deeds, and through satsang, bhajan, another thing is really more, we acquired something, then you will be happy. We will be happy and peaceful. And for that purpose, write a diary, list all good acts in left-hand page, like the this thing, the punya page or the credit page, and the bad, wrong acts that we have done, knowingly, unknowingly, all right-hand page, and keep a balance sheet of this. And after a month or quarter, half yearly or yearly, go on reviewing this, compare, evaluate, compute, giving credits or debits to each acts, the summarizing or the summation of these two sides of pages. That is the net. Then we call it in the balance sheet as a profit or loss. And therefore, we also call that the kind of the debits and other things. Therefore, total liabilities and total assets. Therefore, your punya becomes the assets, the papas, the sins, wrong things becomes your liability, and the net profit is the satsanga, the grace of God. Therefore, lastly, if any of this profit is acquired by us, then people will be happy, peaceful. If by chance we are little more, the papas is still us, and by satsang it will get reduced or it can be dissolved. And there will be some sorrows and worry, and let us not get worried about it. When we have satsang program to support us, and that will be always our backbone, our strength. Swami, when he is with us, nothing to worry. Swami says, go back to Sai Satsang and earn more positive. That means earn more punya, reduce your negative, restart your life, and that is the life balance sheet. So that is the end for today. And one bhajan, and with this we are closing for today's session. Sai Ram.
Sai Ram. Jai Jai Shri Ram, Sai Hare Ram. Jai Jai Shri Ram, Sai Hare Ram. Jai Jai Shri Ram, Neela Gagan Shyam. Jai Jai Shri Ram, Sai Hare Ram. Raghunandan Bhava Bhanjan. Jai Jai Shri Ram. Raghunandan Bhava Bhanjan. जय जय श्री राम. राजीव दल लोचना. जय जय श्री राम. राजीव दल लोचना. जय जय श्री राम. रघुवीरा रणधीरा. जय जय श्री राम. रघुवीरा रणधीरा. जय जय श्री राम. पर्तिपुरी राघव. जय जय साई राम. पर्तिपुरी राघव. जय जय साई राम. जय जय श्री राम. साई हरे राम. जय जय श्री राम. नील गगन श्याम. साई राम.
Sai Ram to all of you. Sai Ram. And let Swami bless all of us. And also particularly regarding the resurgence of the COVID, let us all be careful and seek Swami's grace for our happiness and healthy life. Sai Ram.
Sai Ram.
Sai Ram, all of you. Thank you.
Sai Ram.
Sai Ram.